minutes out. Yeah! We are Circle Network. Country plays here.
Your safety comes first with the First Alert Radar Network. First just got faster. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, First at 5.
A wife looking for answers after her husband disappears during a business trip. We explain next at 5. But first at 5, the defense has rested and prosecutors are calling up their last rebuttal witnesses in the Alec Murdaugh double murder trial. Before the state's case against Alec Murdaugh goes to the jury, today jurors heard from several reply witnesses. The defense rested its case yesterday afternoon, more than a month into the trial. But the state has the chance to call additional witnesses to clarify or dispute elements of the defense's case. Nick Neville walks us through some of the key takeaways. The state called several witnesses seeking to highlight Alec Murdaugh's dishonesty and also to dispute claims made by the defense about the killings. Jurors also heard from Alec's former law partner, Ronnie Crosby, who said that Alec was a theatrical presence in the courtroom and could get very emotional before jurors. In a testy exchange on cross-examination, defense attorney Dick Harpootlian suggested that Crosby testified against Murdaugh out of spite because he stole millions of dollars from the law firm, some of which Crosby has personally had to pay back. Crosby denied this several times.
I have had anger with him, extreme anger, Mr. Harpootlian, because of what he did to my law firm, my partners, my client, his clients, our clients, what he did to his family, what he's did to so many people. Yes, I experienced a lot of anger. But you can't walk around with anger. You have to find a way to deal with it and move forward. And I have done that. And if you suggest, you are dead wrong if you think I've come in here and told this jury something because of money. When we're talking about two people who were brutally murdered, then you're headed in the wrong direction.
You think he did it?
I don't have an opinion. I don't have the benefit of the materials you have.
Later, Dr. Ken Kinsey, a crime scene expert, refuted some of the defense's key assertions, among them that Maggie was gunned down by a 5'2" shooter.
Can you exclude a 6'4" defendant like Alec Murdaugh, or anyone for that matter at that height, from shooting that shotgun at that angle?
Absolutely not.
Attorney General Alan Wilson, along with Kinsey, then reenacted the defense's theory of how Paul was shot execution style in the back of the head.
I think the theory is preposterous, in my opinion.
Using it to push back against another one of the defense's theories, that there were two shooters.
Can you exclude two shooters?
I cannot include or exclude two shooters.
Can the defense include, to the exclusion of all other possibilities, two shooters?
Absolutely not.
A cell phone expert also testified about a test he did over the weekend that showed that the phone screen would not necessarily turn on if the phone was tossed. The defense sought to strike this testimony from the record because the expert did not log his experiments, but Judge Newman overruled. In Walterboro, I'm Nick Neville. The jury is expected to visit the scene of the crime, the Murdaugh family hunting property, after testimony from the reply witnesses is finished. Well, much more news ahead, but we're taking coming off the exit here, but other than that, looks like Lewiston road traffic's moving okay at the moment, and no major issues there on the interstate. Have an update in the full forecast on that severe weather threat in just about 10 minutes. Thanks, Riley. This Georgia man has mysteriously disappeared in Louisiana. Nathan Millard is from Walton, Georgia. Now, it's been almost a week since anyone has heard from him. Tonight at 5, we're hearing from his wife as investigators work to retrack where he was last seen. Nathan Millard traveled to Baton Rouge for a work trip. He was supposed to meet up with his client for a meeting at 8 on Thursday morning, but he never showed up. Later, the client went to the hotel where he and the managers found Millard's phone a few blocks down the street, and his belongings were still in his hotel room. His wife, Amber, spoke with our sister station in Baton Rouge, saying she is praying he will be found soon.
My daughter, of course, she's just, or our daughter, she's innocent, and she knows Daddy's lost, but she just doesn't understand. So we're just trying to keep it very simple to her.
She says since last week, police have been looking at surveillance video and Nathan's debit card purchases. Amber says Nathan's card was used twice Thursday morning, but he wasn't seen. We are live at 5 in Washington, D.C. at the Supreme Court. For most of the day, demonstrators have gathered at the step to rally in support of student loan forgiveness. The People's Rally for Student Debt Cancellation comes as justices prepare to hear arguments today over the legality of President Joe Biden's student loan debt relief plan. The plan would cancel up to $20,000 of student loans for some 40 million people. Student loan repayments have been on hold for nearly 3 years since the pandemic began.
For nothing that we do not deserve. We're asking for nothing but what is deserving. We too are America, and the burden of student debt is being lifted by President Biden, members of Congress who support it, and it is right.
The justices aren't likely to release a decision until June or July. Well, tonight at 5, Columbia County is reeling in visitors and anglers for a national competition. This is a view from Clarks Hill Lake for the 3-day Major League Fishing Tackle Warehouse Invitationals. Nick Wieland spent the day out there and says this isn't the only big event bringing in big dollars to the area.
Well, day one of the Tackle Warehouse Invitational is wrapping up, and you can see all the professional anglers are bringing their boats in for the day, and all the fans are here to see what they were able to catch. The 150 anglers took the water first thing at 7 o'clock this morning. At 3 o'clock, they docked and weighed what they were able to catch. People living in the area have been ready to see this event take place at Wildwood Park in Columbia County. An outdoor store right next to the park is still being built, but this isn't stopping them from wanting to help those get excited about this event being in town.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting as a fan of the sport as well. I mean, I actually, one of the guys I know that fished this trail, he tore his motor up Saturday, and so he's actually out there in my boat right now. So actually, my boat's being used for this tournament.
There are still 2 more days of this event coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock. I'll have more from this event and hear how events like these are bringing businesses to the area. In Appling, Nick Wieland on your side.
All right, thanks for being out there for us, Nick. Definitely a great fishing day across Clarks Hill, and that will continue over the next couple for tournament. And we are looking at the severe weather threat to hold out until Friday. We'll have an update of the full forecast just after the break.
And will South Carolina send public dollars to private schools? You may vote on the matter in 2024. We explain next, live at 5.
As Black History Month comes to a close, one man shares that the history he made as an African American was never about fame and fortune. Coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're sitting down with Colonel Gary Steele as he shares how doing the right thing, even when the wrong thing was easier, led to making a big difference.
Time and temp.
Help thousands of injured people. An amendment to the South Carolina Constitution could be on next year's ballot, as some lawmakers want voters to choose if public dollars can go to private schools. The current Constitution bans such actions. State House reporter Mary Green explains why South Carolinians are now a step closer to seeing it on their ballots.
To put that question to voters next year, the South Carolina General Assembly will first need to pass a resolution to get it on the ballot. The House of Representatives did that today in a vote along party lines.
I think it's past time that we repeal this outdated amendment.
House Speaker Merle Smith's legislation would put this question to voters in November next year, asking them if that part of the Constitution should be repealed to eliminate the prohibition against the state providing direct aid to religious or other private educational institutions. Smith says this caught his attention in 2020 when the current law led the state Supreme Court to block the governor from directly sending federal COVID money to private schools.
This is a dangerous and far-reaching decision. It has unintended consequences that a lot of people don't think of through this process.
He says some private schools are already receiving state dollars indirectly. He listed off state-funded scholarships that help students go to in-state private colleges and 4-year-old kindergarten programs located in private and faith-based centers.
Things that help our children in this state are in jeopardy.
Democrat Russell Ott noted those programs that indirectly receive state dollars aren't being challenged.
This opens up Pandora's box.
He fears making this change to the state constitution and then sending state money to private schools and religious schools especially could threaten religious freedom.
Then all of a sudden, down the road, this body that's not going to be made up of us in this room says, no, we're going to take that money away from you unless you do what we tell you to do. unless you preach what we tell you to preach, unless you teach what we tell you to teach in that private institution, that religious school.
It would take a 2/3 vote in both chambers here at the State House to put that question to voters. That means Republicans in the Senate would need some Democratic support to get that done because they don't hold a supermajority like Republicans do in the House. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
Thanks, Mary. This debate comes as the legislature is looking to establish a voucher program to give public dollars to families to send their kids to private schools. Speaker Smith says that's not what this debate is about, and that it's about protecting programs that are already in place. We're taking a live look outside. Actually, we're going to send things over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist. Straight line winds, possibly tornadoes with those storms, so stay updated and keep it with us for those updates the rest of the week. Thanks, Riley. This just in, 2 people are dead after a crash in Screven County. Georgia State Patrol says it happened over the weekend. 2 cars were driving in opposite directions on Highway 24. That's when one driver lost control of the car, spinning into the other lane, causing the crash. We are working to learn their identities. Well, so to come on News 12, a new tax proposal could cause people looking to move to South Carolina. Hear more on what lawmakers are calling the Yankee tax coming up.
The first thing you do
or reserve from select Honda dealers.
With more people moving to the Palmetto, state lawmakers are working on a plan to make sure the roads can handle all of the drivers. The new bill, dubbed the Yankee tax, by lawmakers would create additional fees for newcomers who want to drive on state roads. This would require drivers to pay a $500 one-time fee for new driver's licenses and vehicle registration.
Read about it, but I'm not sure that I agree with that. I would rather everyone paid their taxes that goes to the roads. It would be nice if we had better roads, but that's a different issue. And goes to our roads and our schools and everything that we need to make this state a wonderful state and why people want to move here.
I think we need it. Our roads are in bad shape and there's a lot more traffic on our roads. So I definitely think that it will help. Anything can help. So I mean, it is putting a lot of pressure on our infrastructure.
The proposal recently cleared a Senate committee and now heads to the Senate floor for debate. Talking about traffic happening now, Aiken City leaders are having a traffic study meeting for Whiskey Road. They are talking about a recent traffic study and looking for feedback on how to move forward. The meeting ends at 7 o'clock tonight at Chucker Creek Elementary.
Grant me on air and online. News 12's First Alert Traffic Network is sponsored by Mountaineer Pest Services. Protect your home at StopMyBugs.com.
Come on into Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the furniture you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.
There's so many options in a ship tackle box. Let us do the fishing while y'all enjoy seafood that you'll love. Get them before they're gone.
Come on into Davis Appliance and Furniture, where you can find the best deals in town. It's tax time, so when that refund comes in, it's the perfect time to get the furniture you've always wanted. For the brands you trust at the lowest prices, visit us at Davis Appliance and Furniture.